Our next guest comes from one of the nation's top travel insurance providers to ensure every contingency, like microphones, is covered for every conceivable hitch. Please welcome Senior Vice President of Sales for Travel Guard, Scott Ackerman.
Good morning. Wow, it's always good to have the travel insurance guy first thing in the morning, isn't it? So hang in there with me. I'm going to start this morning, with a thank you. Instead of waiting until the end, I'm going to start with a thank you in the beginning. Why? What a year, huh? What a year in travel insurance. Between the licensing and the stuff that we put you through as an industry, I think we owe you a big thank you. Now, I wanted to give you some updates about what's going on with that wonderful licensing world that we're all going through. Just so you all know, the USTIA, the United States Travel Insurance Association, has been working on your behalf for a long time trying to get this travel retailer model law that you all have been hearing about passed through your states. Currently, there are over 20 states that have passed this new law, and as those laws are introduced into your state, we continue to tell them to you, and you can then sell, solicit, negotiate, and talk about travel insurance in the way that the law in your state is written. Until that happens in your state or the states that you're selling in, I ask that you continue to follow the licensing stuff that we've laid out for you. We'll continue to guide you. We'll continue to get through this as an industry, but I promise you, both at Travel Guard and USTIA, we are really working hard to get this through all of the states. So we owe you a big thank you for hanging in there with us as an industry, and we promise we will not stop the fight until we get it done throughout the United States. The other thing that I want to thank you for is growth. Unbelievable growth this year with VCOM. So thank you very, very much. Travel Guard is always amazed at the numbers that you all continue to produce and the type of policies and the type of work that you do on behalf of your customers. The other thing I should tell you is that we had even more growth in the amount of people in the room that actually sell Travel Guard. Over 50% of you in this room actually sell Travel Guard. So thank you very, very much. The last thing that I want to thank you for, and it's certainly not last, but over the last number of years, we have had the honor of receiving your top award. And we want you to know that that goes a long way to us. Not only for me and not only for the sales staff, but for all 600 plus employees in Stevens Point, Wisconsin, who every day work on behalf of your travelers, servicing them, taking care of them in their need. That award goes in a case that everybody walks through every morning when they come into the building. And I can't thank you enough, not just, again, on behalf of what it does for us in the sales organization, but really what it does for us throughout the entire organization. So thank you very, very much for that. What I want to do is focus a little bit to give you some statistics, if I can, about something that's very, very interesting. We have always heard about what a great job the sales team has done for you all. And this year, we embarked on something that our customer service organization has always done, which is the voice of the customer. And we did the voice of you. So for those of you who have seen a Travel Guard salesperson throughout the year, you received a survey at the end of the month asking you all how was that conversation and how was that time that we spent together. 95% of you all responded. Unbelievable. Look at the answers that you gave. You would recommend Travel Guard to a peer, you will continue to sell Travel Guard, and you are satisfied with your Travel Guard sales rep. 94% responded that you feel that the Travel Guard visit and the time that we spent with you was very productive. Now, let me tell you why I think that 95% or 94% is so amazing. Industry standards say that if your organization gets 51% or above in your what they call a Net Promoter Score, that you're an all-star. If you get 74% and above, you have world-class service. You all have given us 94% rating. We thank you very, very much. Part of the reason that I know that you guys love us very much and we love you is Easy Tips. For those of you who are using Easy Tips, and just so you know, over 60% of the VCOM revenue comes through Easy Tips. If you're not using Easy Tips, please, let's have that conversation. We've talked about it before. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it, but Easy Tips is the industry leading in the software that came out. Focusrite gave us an award 4 years ago about it. You all have embraced it. You all know what it does. It cuts down your ability for selling travel insurance down to a very small amount. It also does a lot of stuff that I want to talk about just really quick. If you're not using the concierge side of Easy Tips, please let's use the concierge side of it. You know, when you use the travel insurance side and you book the insurance, you can put in a request and we're willing to do all the work on your behalf, right? We're willing to set tea times up for you. We're willing to make dinner reservations for your clients. We're willing to do any of that work that you want, that you need to get done, but we'll take it off your plate. We'll send you all of the information that you've requested back to you, and you all can cut and paste that information and send it out to your clients like you did it. So let us help you sell more by keeping you in front of your customers and selling, and let us do some of that work for you on the back, and Easy Tips can do that. Also, if you don't know that Easy Tips does things like second chance emails so that you can bring your uptake rate back. They'll do bon voyage emails and welcome back emails, and there's a ton of marketing that Easy Tips will do for you. We've talked about it in the past, but I just wanted you to remind you that if you're not using Easy Tips, let's talk about it one more time. It will help your uptake rate, and it will certainly help you sell a lot more in insurance. The other thing that I want to talk about is our award-winning incentive program. We introduced to you all, and you may not remember it, probably 5 years ago, Get Out the Quote. And since then, our incentive programs have just continued and continued and continued. All the way through when we were giving away iPads to the frontline agent, iPads to the agency owner, and an iPad for the agency owner to be able to take to a local charity and give away on your behalf. The A-List is the program that we have going on now. There are many, many winners over the years from VCOM, but I ask that if you have your frontline agents and if you're not signed up, please get signed up for the A-List. It's great incentives, great gifts, and you're selling travel insurance anyway with Travel Guard. You might as well reap some more of the benefits that you can get from the A-List. Now I want to talk about the people. Because we've talked about product, we've talked about everything else over the years. What I really want you to know is how Travel Guard was built. The foundation, we talked about it many years ago. We talked about the World Service Center. This is an interesting thing also. When you talk about promoter scores, there is a promoter score and an organization that does service centers. And they give out an annual award. And I just want you to know that the ACE Award, that's what it's called, the Achievement in Customer Excellence, Travel Guard received out of a possible 10 this year, 9.25 in customer satisfaction. Amazing. This team in Stevens Point takes care of your customers. Thank you. They take care of your customers like nobody else can. And all 600 plus of them, which are housed all under one roof in Stevens Point, so that you know we're the only travel insurance organization that is soup to nuts. So not only do we have you sell the product, but we actually service our own product. Our concierge division is our own. Our claims division is our own. Our World Service Center is our own. Our medical assist around the world is our own. We do not farm out any aspects of our operations to anybody. And this department, in the medical department and World Service Center, is just unbelievable. Continue to use them in the way that you do. Travel Assist. In the Travel Assist world, it falls in that same category, right? It allows you to, when something happens, these are the people that take care of you. And I guess what I want to say here is, I'm going to tell you a quick story. I've been up here 8 years and talked to you guys about it, and finally this year, for the first time ever, I had the opportunity of using my own service. And you guys have always told me, and I hear the stories and I get your letters about how we take care of your clients, but until you experience it yourself, you never really know. And this year, for the first time ever, I was in Asheville, North Carolina with my father, who's 85 years old, and my mother, and my sister, and my son, and my wife. Anyway, the whole family, we rented a house, and my father got ill. And he got pneumonia. And I didn't know what to do. So what did I do? I picked up the phone and I called Travel Guard. And the service I got was unbelievable. Took my breath away. They got me to a clinic. They looked at what the doctors at the clinic said. They told me that my father couldn't fly home. They wanted him rushed to the hospital. At 85 years old, he wasn't going to any hospital. At 85 years old, I'm 14 hours away from my house. He can't fly and he wants to go home. My doctors advised me to get into the hospital. I could not get my father to the hospital, and I always thought that there'd be a shift, a paradigm sometime in my life when he got into the 80s and I got into the 50s, and maybe he would listen to me. Didn't happen. So Travel Guard developed a plan where they actually delivered a van, put together a map for me, told me that every hour and a half I had to walk my father, told me where the hospitals were from Asheville down to Palm Beach, Florida, where my mother and father live, told me to put him in a car and start driving. Every hour and a half they called me. Every hour and a half I had to walk my father. Every hour and a half they determined where I was and where the nearest hospitals would be. When I returned back to Palm Beach, Florida at 2 o'clock in the morning, they had a nurse waiting for me in front of my father's house to make sure he was okay. The next morning, they already had him booked at my father's doctor to make sure that he got the medical treatment he needed. My father is fine. He had pneumonia. It was scary for us at the time. He's great. But I have to tell you, the stories that you guys have been telling me for years, the letters that your clients have been writing, you're correct. Until you experience what we do and you really know what we do, it's an unbelievable experience. So anyway, thank you for letting me share, but my team is really unbelievable. The assistance centers are around the world, and I'm going to go through this quickly now because I told you that story and this clock is ticking away, and John Lovell will kill me if I go too long. So I own all my own service centers around the world. I don't rent them out, like I said to you guys, and you can see where they are. So wherever your clients are, the sales team. We talked about it 2 years or 3 years ago when we put the sales team into the team concept. It's working great for you guys. You tell me that you love it all the time. You have a DOS in the field that you can see. You have people back in Stevens Point that you can call at a moment's notice and will pick up the phone because they're not out on the field. So that you always have a team that is capable of handling what you need, when you need it, at the time that you need it, and we thank you for using that. Lastly, let me just once again finish by saying thank you very much for all of your support. Thank you for allowing us to be the leaders in travel insurance. Thank you for allowing us to create what we've created through our technology, through the world-class service that we do, through the hand-holding, through the phone calls that you give us. And more importantly than anything, I thank you for your loyalty for selling travel insurance, for what you do for us every day. Thank you guys, and thank you for having us.